Morning, Faith Bible Church. Good morning, Faith Bible Church family. We are here giving you an addition to the Sunday morning message out of Psalm 90. We're going to read out of James Montgomery Boice's commentary. He entitles this section, looking at the last several verses in Psalm 90, Man's Need of God's Grace. The fourth section of Psalm 90, verses 13 to 17, is an appeal to God for an outpouring of His grace, that we may be satisfied with God Himself and that our work might endure as something of lasting value, even though we ourselves quickly pass away. He quotes verses 13 to 17, "Relent, O Lord, how long will it be? Have compassion on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for you and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, as many years as we have seen trouble. May your deeds be shown to your servants and your splendor to their children. May the favor of the Lord our God rest upon us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands." Backing up to verse 12, we find three petitions in this closing section of the psalm. Number 1, teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. This is not a request that we might know each day is from God and thus be able to check it off as going along, subtracting it from our allotment of 70 years or 80, as it were. It is a prayer that God will help us to live holy lives, which is the path of true wisdom. How do we make each day count for God? First, by recognizing life's brevity, which is what Moses has been chiefly writing about in this psalm. If Moses had been a lesser poet, he might have written, "Only one life, 'twill soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last." Second, by living each day for God, the Bible student wrote wisely, "We cannot apply our hearts unto wisdom as instructed by Moses, except we number every day as our possible last day." We remember that in Jesus' parable, the fool wanted to build bigger and better barns to store his surplus crops so that he could settle down and take life easy. But Jesus said to him, "You fool, this very night your life will be demanded from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself?" Luke 12:20. Of all the mathematical disciplines, this is the hardest, to number our days. We count everything else, but we do not seem able to use our days rightly and with wisdom. Number 2, satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all of our days. Verse 14. Alexander McLaren said, "The only thing that will secure lifelong gladness is a heart satisfied with the experience of God's love." This means that nothing will satisfy the human heart ultimately except God. So forget trying to fill your life with mere things. They will perish. Do not even put your hope in other people. They will die. St. Augustine wrote, "You made us for yourself, and our hearts find no peace until they find rest in you." Number 3, establish the work of your hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. Verse 17. At last, with his weakness and sin before him, Moses appeals to the grace of God to make what he had been trying to do for God worthwhile. God needs nothing from us, being able from stones to raise up children to Abraham. But if God has put us in this life to do something good for Him, then it is important that we do it and do it well. William N. Taylor wrote, "So long as we are here," quote, "we are required by Him for something. Let us therefore find out what it is and do it. And while we do it, let us pray that God may establish it so that it may remain to bless posterity." End quote. Moses did what God had called him to do, and God established His work. We see it in the ongoing history of Israel, of which he was so large a part in the first 5 books of the Bible which he wrote, and even in the psalm we have been studying. One more thing. For centuries, this sober song of Moses has been read at funeral services. It is easy to see why. It recognizes the shortness of life, but also the truth that God is able to establish the work of our hands, making what we do for God count eternally. Do you want God to do that? Do you want your life here and what you do here to have meaning? Do you want to be a blessing to others? The only way that can happen is if God establishes your work. May He do that so that others who come after you will be blessed because of you. And so when you die and appear before God the Father, you will hear him say, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness.'" Matthew 25, 21, and 23. May the Lord bless you today, Faith Bible Church, as you seek to do his will. And we look forward to talking to you again soon.